All right, point number 2, and this is going to be a tough one for some of the ladies to swallow, and I think some of you guys might already understand this concept, but some of you really don't understand the significance of number 2. And it's that women have a overly entitled sense of self-worth today that is nowhere near aligned with their true sexual marketplace value. I'll give you a very good example of this. From time to time, I have consults booked with women. Sometimes they send me requests to do videos on something that they're stuck on. And I had this one the other day where she was late 30s. She made quite good money. She made about $30,000+ a month at the job that she was doing. She had done well for herself. She figured out, she had cracked the code on the company of one, working for herself, broadcasting information and making some money at it. And again, she'd done quite well. But here's the catch. At her late 30s, almost at 40 in fact, she had 2 children, one of which she had earlier this year. So she's basically got a baby, and the other one looks somewhere around the age of, let's just say under the age of 4. And her ask to me was, I want to find a guy and I need your help. I'm single, I'm a single mom, here's my story, I make a lot of money, but I want an alpha male that makes more money than me and is smarter than me. Now, this is not something that's particularly new. You'd think that this is the first time this had popped up, or I've never heard this before, but this is in fact quite common. She had no accurate idea of what her value was on the sexual marketplace. She was a pretty woman in her younger years, right? I know all these things because she linked her social feed for me to take a look at who she was. She was a pretty woman in her younger years, but after 2 kids, a marriage, who knows what else led up to it, her looks have deteriorated significantly. But she was at the point where she felt entitled, with a baby in tow and a small child, divorced. Her husband left her, by the way, because he got involved with another woman. But she felt entitled for a higher value guy than the one that had left her for another woman, with kids in tow, and expecting him to make more money than her and also be an alpha male. And I'll be honest with you, there is no man out there around her age bracket, because it's really around that age bracket that she's really going to have any opportunities, that would be, you know, willing to take on the burden of another man's children, take on the burden of dealing with all the drama that's tied around that, for a woman that is nowhere near the peak of her sexual marketplace value. Women peak around 22, 23. After that, they're on the decline. Men, on the other hand, have the opportunity to peak much, much later on in their life. And when they do, it's actually good for men, because men can peak later in their life, let's say in their late 30s or so, maybe even closer to 40, depending on how well it is that they take care of themselves. But there's a big discrepancy, and women's self-belief, you know, their entitlement of their sexual marketplace value is much, much higher. And it's simply because they've had so much free attention their entire life, mostly by thirsty betas and men that just kind of throw it at them continuously. They get it off social media. You know, this woman, again, you know, she rode off a company of one business model, working for herself, making $30,000+ a month, obviously had a good following, obviously had the attention and adoration of a lot of people. I would imagine her audience seemed to be primarily female because of the stuff that she was promoting and selling. But there's no guy in his right mind that would choose that, an alpha male, let's say, that makes over $31,000 a month, because that's one of her demands. We know that women are hypergamous, so they always want better than what they are. Women only date and marry up on the socioeconomic scale. For the most part, on a short-term basis, if it's alpha C, they just want to have a one-night stand, a fling. There's nothing that's going to stop them from spending the night with some guy that was just in jail if he's alpha enough. But on a long-term basis, again, hypergamy says they only date and marry up. So you have to understand, as a guy on the sexual marketplace today, women have an overly entitled sense of self-worth, and have this belief that they're worth significantly more than what their true marketplace value is. Women struggle with that. They have a very, very hard time accepting that. At some point, they may smack into a wall and realize, oh wow, that was you know, that was an eye-opener. There's usually some moment where they realize, I need to lower my expectations. I need to have a more realistic standard of my worth out there, because it doesn't matter how much money women make, they don't share it with men. Men are dumb. We share our pot of gold with women. Women don't share their pot of gold with men. On a long-term basis, they have the expectation, again, you know, as I described with this woman's request, that they connect with somebody that is better off and of course, you know, ticks off all these boxes, is so alpha. Many of the expectations that, you know, women seem to have, it's like, must be funny, must be sweet, must be loving, must be kind, must accept, you know, my children as their own, must be alpha, must be competent, must know how to change a tire, must know how to do and it's like they have this checklist of 250 items that they expect you to meet for you to have the privilege of dating a late 30s woman with children in tow, one baby, and the dude that she was with left her. I told her straight up, you need to, one, either lower your expectations on what you're looking for, or two, take the father of your kids back, because one, it's better for your kids, and two, you're not going to do much better. I saw the pictures of the guy in the feed. But that's the cold, hard truth. Like, that's the cold, harsh reality that women struggle to accept. Men need to understand it. Women are unlikely to want to accept it at some point. But again, this is number two, guys. This is a reality.